Tesla has sold us the future where we will have self-driving cars. They have charged for a full self-driving capability. They say the car will become self-driving. They've been doing this for over 10 years. But now you can actually let the car drive completely by itself. But I still have to watch. So I'm in Denmark and about to test full self-driving supervised. But before you get to drive, you have to go through a short tutorial that takes about 6 to 7 minutes. Press here, learn about FSD under supervision. Here's a short video that shows what I need to do, how I should behave, and how to activate it. There are 2 tricky questions at the end, but I managed to answer them. So here we go. We are finally off. This incredible vehicle can actually drive completely by itself without any human intervention, seamlessly changing lanes, signaling at the right time, and doing absolutely everything you would expect from a fully autonomous car. I don't need to hold the steering wheel, but I do have to look somewhere. There's a camera here that monitors me, so I have to keep watch at all times. And I can get a little warning that says, hey, you're not looking at the road enough. Now things are happening. And this car is supposed to be able to drive just like you and I do, but better. And you should also be able to let the car pick you up or park itself. It costs 990 Swedish kronor per month, but you can just get a 1-month subscription if you want. So you don't have to have it. So if you're going on vacation, you can activate full safe driving supervised. It's now approved in Denmark. The EU will make a decision on this in September or October. Sweden is sitting and considering whether this is good or not. They think the problem with it is that you can set it to drive 5 to 10% faster than the speed limit. So Sweden says that's not possible. So far, they've at least been doubtful about the whole thing. We'll just have to see when it gets approved in Sweden. So it was approved in Denmark on June 9th and in some other countries as well. This applies to Tesla cars from model years 23 and 24. Those with hardware number 3 simply can't handle this software. It said that those who have older cars and have paid for this potential self-driving feature should be able to go to some kind of service center and have the necessary parts replaced. Or you can get a discount on a new car, the same amount of money that you spent to get these full self-driving capabilities. There's been a lot of back and forth about it, but now let's see if it actually works well. We are in Copenhagen, the promised city of cyclists, the city with the highest quality of life in the world, partly thanks to its infrastructure. As everyone knows, Tesla, of course, does not use LiDAR, so you rely on the cameras, mainly those in the front and up here, and 360-degree cameras, so it's supposed to be much better than I am at keeping an eye on everything around and looking ahead. Elon Musk's idea with all of this is that it's a human who sees with their eyes. That should be enough. Humans don't have LiDAR capability to see through things and so on. He's betting heavily that you don't need to use extremely expensive technology to make cars self-driving. However, the millions and millions of kilometers that the cars have driven and been trained on, that's AI training. There isn't a code that says do this and that. Instead, the cars have driven, trained, and experienced different traffic situations, and then based on that, the car is supposed to make a smart decision and also understand what will happen next. Let's see now. I wonder if I can signal here if I want to go to the left. Shall we try and see? Yes, there I activated an overtaking maneuver. The car itself thinks it could stay in this lane. But I think we'll keep going here for a while. Let's see. And as I said, I should be warned if I don't... There, now let's see. That's good. Now I took out the paper and then I got a little blue warning here. If I get warned too many times, then it will turn off the self-driving during this trip. So then you have to stop and maybe wait a while and let the car calm down or let myself calm down. And then you can use the self-driving again. I think that's reasonable. You shouldn't be able to sit and do other things because I'm the one who's responsible the whole time if something happens. Tesla says that 320 kilometers are driven every day with, now we're driving close to the bus, and it handles the curb well. I drove for a while before I started adjusting things. It has been very safe and calm. The self-driving that's available here in Europe is in terms of slowness, it's a bit less aggressive than the one that's been available in the US. This one is a bit safer. Smoother in its driving. I've driven several self-driving cars in China. They've been more impulsive or a bit more aggressive. This one feels laid back, stable, and safe. It rides smoothly. At least it drives very smoothly, carefully and thoughtfully. If you say that this car is supposed to react even faster than I do to everything that happens, but as I said, if it gets foggy and I can't see anything, the car won't be able to see anything either, so it will stop. And if there's snow on the sensors or the cameras, then it won't be able to drive either. So it won't be able to handle this the way it does now on a nice summer day in Copenhagen all year round. There is heating for the front camera. There is supposed to be some kind of cleaning function, but I'm not really sure how it works. But heating for the camera, meaning the camera that's up here, that will probably be used and cleaned by the windshield wiper. Tesla claims that this system is supposed to be 7 times safer than regular humans. You can calculate this however you want, but then you're comparing it to if everyone drove Teslas or no one rode motorcycles and so on. No one drove old cars. The numbers they've come up with are supposed to save, I think, 42,000 lives in the US and so on. Almost 2 million fewer injured people. They're a bit exaggerated, I would say. Because then, as I said, you're comparing it to everyone driving a Tesla or modern new safe cars. And of course, not everyone does that. So it's a bit like comparing apples and pears there. But even when Tesla compares with, when cars are driving in the US with full self-driving and people are just driving with the system activated, it's more than twice as safe with full self-driving on, according to Tesla. Right now, it really feels like this car drives as safely and smoothly as possible. It has 360-degree awareness all the time. In China, they sell these Tesla systems for 95,000 kroner. In China, these systems are almost becoming standard among Chinese cars. B&E sells a system for maybe 19,000 kroner that can basically do the same things. So the competition is very tough, especially there. But in Europe, if Tesla gets this approved, they will be, as far as I know, the first and absolutely the best at this type of driver assistance system. This could become a very big advantage for Tesla when it comes to selling cars. How many people are willing to pay 99 kroner? It's a safety feature and a convenience thing. I've recently had the opportunity to drive the all-electric BMW iX3 out on the road with the driving system that also helps out. It's very good, but it's not at all at this level. It steps in and assists a lot, but it can't drive the whole way, navigate. Here, we're changing lanes, nicely done. It can't do this at all. There will be an update for BMW as well this fall. There, you have to look in the rearview mirror, then it will do the lane change. But this car does all of this by itself. I absolutely don't need to do anything except keep an eye on the road ahead of me. That's all I need to do if I want to look at. Felix has been standing here seeing how long I can look into your eyes before the car tells me I'm not paying attention. It's actually a bit scary to look the wrong way. It doesn't feel comfortable. There, we also changed lanes right in the middle of this. We changed 2 lanes. I wasn't aware of that. It's a bit scary, but I thought it was pretty forgiving. It was more forgiving than I thought. It actually allowed me to look away for quite a long time. But as I said, I'm the one who's responsible, so if anything happens, it's on me. I'm the one who has to pay for all the damages and so on. But in Germany, I know that with Mercedes on the highway, they actually take over responsibility even for accidents during a certain type of Autobahn driving, up to, I think, 90 kilometers per hour. There, they've taken it a step further, almost level 3 with Mercedes. This development is going to be very rapid, and this could become the next big thing in the car industry. In the US, they're conducting experiments on Tesla's side and allowing these to be used as taxis. But so far, there is always a safety driver in the taxis. So let's see. Good, he's keeping an eye on the bikes coming from behind. Impressive how well it keeps track and how smoothly and nicely it drives. This is what everyone is working towards. A large part of Tesla's stock price has probably been due to the idea that Tesla could gain an enormous lead with all these cars out there, collecting data and learning more and more. So they keep getting smarter and smarter. So Tesla says that they will be the absolute best at self-driving, and in the Western world, they really are. Not in China, but the Chinese manufacturers have so far had difficulty starting to sell these systems in Europe due to data storage reasons and so on. But in China, B&D actually takes the financial responsibility for all accidents during the first year if you buy a car with self-driving there. In China, B&D covers all accident costs for the first year on their self-driving cars. I think it's going to become a race here as well. What will it cost to have self-driving systems? And how much responsibility will the car brand take for any potential accidents? This is just the beginning of this whole development towards fully self-driving cars. Naturally, the goal is that you should be able to buy your car and then let it drives itself. I can sit and read a book and do whatever I want. Or rent out this car as a taxi. That would be an enormous step forward. But this one does it very well, I have to say. And I don't feel the least bit unsafe. As long as I keep my eyes on the road, I feel very safe. But now let's see one more time if I should sit back here. I do have two people in the car who can see if anything happens. There it started blinking and giving a warning. I think it was good that it gave a warning about that. So this is actually something you shouldn't do. I wonder if I take out my phone here without any police seeing me. No, it handles this. It didn't give a warning about this actually, but it's supposed to be very strict about this. You're not supposed to surf quickly. If everyone drives with these systems on, I think traffic will become much safer, because then you won't be able to surf. And then if someone has been drinking, that's still a very large part of the accidents. That people are under the influence of drugs. In the US, there are figures showing that just over 30% have alcohol in their blood when involved in accidents. And if you have this system, I'm not saying you should get in the car drunk, but people make mistakes. But if you have this system, you'll get a lot of help. Older people who might find it hard to keep up with the flow of traffic and feel insecure, with this system, they basically just have to enter the destination in the navigation. Where do I want to go? Let the car take care of everything, and then I arrive at my destination. It becomes a way for people who drive a bit poorly or are uncertain drivers to be able to keep driving. That's really good. There we go. It parked nicely too. Wonderful. Great. That was excellent. That was excellent. I have to say, I'm very impressed by this short drive. Moderate? Yes, that's right. You also get a rating on how attentive I was during this drive, and I agree with it. It wasn't good, but that was the point too. So this is the first taste of this. What it can handle. Fantastic. Really good. Then the question is whether you want to pay 1,000 kroner a month or not. That's another matter. People generally don't like paying subscriptions for things they'd rather just pay for once. I want to have this feature in the car, and then that's it. So it comes with the car. But then again, you never know how this will turn out in the future. Will there be updated technical requirements for the cars? So maybe you don't want to sell a finished piece of hardware and guarantee that this car will truly be self-driving further down the line. Instead, it might be easier and a bit safer from the company's perspective to just sell the information, because that's here and now. And now we can say that we're selling it right now. But what happens in the future, that's a whole different story. Would you feel safe letting the car drive the way it just did now? And would you feel comfortable letting the car drive entirely on its own while you sit and read or work or do something else in the future? What do you think will happen in the future? Write in the comments. I hope you found this short test ride of the Tesla FSD Supervised exciting. And what will happen to us car enthusiasts in the future? If all you're going to do is ride around and test how well the car drives for you, what happens to the joy of driving? Or is it possible to have both? You can drive this car yourself however you want, and then let it drive itself when you don't want to drive. Take care.